let's see if I can say this correctly. Anthropophagus. Is that
Got
right?
it.
Okay.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Otherwise known as what, the Grim Reaper, or there was another title I saw.
The Savage Island.
Yep.
The Savage Island.
Yes. So this is a summary for this film. A group of friends and a hitchhiker become stranded on a tourist island where they are stalked by a disfigured cannibalistic killer who is prowling the island after killing its residents. Directed by Joe D'Amato, who has 197 directing credits.
Yep.
He directed a lot of these things under a pseudonym, since even Joe D'Amato is a pseudonym. His real name is Aristide Macachesi, I guess. I mean, that's as close as I can come to it. But most of his credits seem to be the pornography.
Erotic Nights of the Living Dead is fucking wonderful.
Erotic Nights. I got a few titles.
Yeah.
Erotic Nights of the Living Dead, Porno Holocaust.
That one's messed up.
Paprika, The Last Italian Whore. Homo erectus, Copsucker 2, and Anal Strippers Exposed.
Wicked.
This is written by George Eastman, who wrote Stage Fright. If you've ever seen that, that's the one with the owl-headed killer.
That was cool.
Oh, he wrote that? No shit.
And he plays the monster in this movie.
Yeah.
He also plays. What else did I see he was in?
He's in the sequel to this, the spiritual sequel.
I think
Absurd.
I think
he
he might play the owl in Stage Fright. Maybe, I'm not sure. He plays a killer in something else. Also written by Joe D'Amato. Normally Jason would bring some insight into the release here, but I'm sure it's available somewhere, right? You can get, it's available all over the internet, but you can buy it on Blu-ray on Amazon. I suggest it. It's a very unusual way to enter a movie. I thought something was fucked up. There was no subs or dubs at the beginning little segment, the little first thing. It was just a foreign language that I couldn't understand. Then a dude puts on headphones and the worst music in the world is playing in them. So I guess the dialogue here must not have been important enough to take some consideration into. There's like, here's a thing, watch this, we got a movie going. This seems like the sort of thing you'd watch on an unmarked VHS at your weird uncle's house. You'd pull it out, or it's just a fucking weird movie. There is something really off about it, kind of. It's like the dub is, I don't know, it's not like it's
Joe D'Amato though. That's
yeah,
it's Joe D'Amato.
And this is coming out at that weird time in horror where they didn't really have a template for a movie like this. So it's like before Friday the 13th really existed how it does, and right after Dawn of the Dead. It's just a weird time period, so you get a lot of unusual shit at this time. There's so many things that confuse the fuck out of me, I'll be honest. The female character, she gets has a complete collapse following this tarot card segment they have. Now, I've been around a few people that believe in tarot cards or whatever, and I've seen them do the thing, and it doesn't seem like you ask the cards questions, right? It's more like they just lay them all out, and then it tells a story. It's like a horoscope. This woman loses her shit, and I think it's just because I think maybe she just doesn't know how to use them, and I don't know. I don't know why she's all of a sudden collapsing mentally, but I think the writing is a little misinformed or not informed at all about most things, because there's like a medical student, and he says it's something like she asks, what do you do, what are you going to school for, or something. He's like, medicine. I need 2 more exams and it's over. That's not how shit works. It's not like 2 exams and I'm a medicine doctor. In
a Joe D'Amato film it is.
Yeah. But it'd be like if I was it seems like if I was writing a book about a fireman and I'd have a character say, if I put out 15 more fires, I get my own Dalmatian. Like this shit seems, it's like, doesn't line
That
up.
needs to be a line in the movie now.
I do like all the sailing shit at the beginning, and it's not because there's a lot of really cool dialogue or fun stuff happening, but it's because it seems like an extended Virginia Slims commercial, and I just kind of like hanging out on that boat with those people in that time period for a little bit. It was just fun. I don't, the early '80s. It's good. It's a good time. Uh, the worst thing about this movie is the score. I think it is terrible. Twangy flange, plodding keyboards. This movie should have had hard driving synth. Something really, it's ripe for that shit. Like, put a fucking. There's a million. During this time period, there was so much great horror scoring happening. They could have picked anybody. Anybody. Guy Moon, anybody. I don't care. There's one part where they're in the woods and there's like a thunderstorm happening. The music kind of worked there, and I was a little bit on the fence, but then by the time they got to the graveyard, it just developed into this cacophony of noise. And I know what they're doing. It's supposed to make you feel unsettled. Okay, I don't need that. I want to enjoy a film. I don't want to have to mute it. I muted this movie so many times because of the score and the sound design that I was just like, I had the captions on. I don't need it. If it's going to be that bad, I don't need it. The severed head in the bucket really made me laugh. I had to rewind it back.
Oh yeah,
because
awesome.
That is active ignorance. She did not look in that bucket on purpose that whole time. When you're pulling a bucket up, you're looking at it. You're going to see it. She was looking off in the distance. It was so goddamn funny.
And it was one shot, right? It was all one,
Yeah.
almost maybe a little bit of cutting here and there.
And
but...
she's on a boat, and she's like, "Where did he go?" Looking off into the ocean. Like,
and she's like,
but at least by the time you pulled even if you didn't look at it all the way up to bringing it into the boat, before you put your foot into it, you don't look. She didn't look at all. I think that
awesome.
I think the Grim Reaper guy is really funny. Every time he pops up, which is very few times, he's not in this very much.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there should have been somebody off screen going, "Oh my God, that man's had too many marijuanas." Like, there's the expression that he had on his face all the time seemed like a, I don't know, like a Reefer Madness kind of insanity, because he wasn't a monster, really. He was just a crazy guy, right? Like
he had some sort of disease from all that eating, that flesh eating.
Yeah. I don't know why every single character in this movie isn't armed after the first murder. The only one dude has like a kitchen knife. Just find something, guys. Get that cleaver from the dead dude. Break off a wine bottle. They're all over the place.
Yep.
There's a monster afoot. Take care of business.
Could have used a torch on him.
Anything. There's a million things, and no one there to tell you not to use them. I don't think this group of people ever had a plan through the whole thing. They see a boat floating. They see their boat floating at one point, and instead of going towards the water, they end up in like an old castle. Like, they don't. It's right outside their window, and then they end up deeper into the mess. So I don't know. They were asking for it the whole time. I did not like that pregnant lady scene. I didn't need it to be so gruesome.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
I don't need that. You can just tell me the dude ate the baby. I don't need to see it. But
baby, the other way.
It was very effective, for sure. It was funny to me when the dude at the end reappears to save the day. Yeah, and the thing that was so funny to me is because he's the guy that says, "Let's go get the boat," or whatever, and then you don't see him until he comes back. So who knows what he was up to? He might have went and got an ice cream. I don't know. He's completely vacant. Like, they don't even touch base with where he was at until he comes back with the pickaxe.
He probably went to the bar or something.
The formula for this movie is kind of like the classic monster movie sort of thing, though. So, like, I think if you were gonna I think it's a good representation of horror in general. I think that if someone didn't know what the genre was, you could give this to them and be like, this kind of covers all your bases a little bit. It has some good effects in it. I liked a lot of the stuff that was happening, but that fucking score dropped it down from a 7 to a 5 for me. It was so bunk. I hated it. I hated it. But yeah, they could have hit an 8 or a 9, I think, if they would have had a better soundtrack. That's how much it affected it. Normally, it's just an incidental thing. It was in my face, so that's what I think.
All right, cool. That's all right. Yeah, I had a feeling you were not gonna be digging the baby scene. I don't either, but it is effective.
Oh yeah.
They really did
Yeah.
with that shiny wet rabbit.
And I think knowing that it was a rabbit helped me through that a little bit, because if I had I had read that in the IMDb trivia, and it kind of smoothed it out for me a little bit, because that was gross.
Yeah, I only know about this movie because I read Chaz Ballin's Beyond Horror Holocaust. That was a sequel book to Horror Holocaust. Yeah, I only know about it because of it, and it was, I believe, that's how I learned about the video nasties, and I'm pretty sure this was on there for that baby scene. I'm almost 100%.
Yeah, you're right.
positive.
It was. Yep.
Yeah. So that got cut out. I remember seeing this for sale at Best Buy, like when I was in college, like this is the Anchor Bay heyday of DVD, they were just releasing everything.
Nice.
So I didn't see this until like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. I ended up not buying it because I just didn't know what it was, but this is just some good Italian horror. Like, it's not A game, it's definitely B game. It was made for the shock value of it. That's Joe D'Amato porn, horror porn. Like, just straight, just let's get violent, let's rip some people apart. George Eastman, I liked him a lot. He's a really cool presence on the screen. He's a big dude. That's a big dude. Like in Absurd, you see him more humanly. The movie Absurd, I said, the spiritual sequel. He looks more of it like a human being. He's crazy in that movie too. I feel like this is almost D'Amato's lightest family friendly film that he made.
Well, based on the IMDb I read, that's probably
right. Yeah, he did did he do Beyond the Darkness too? I believe he did.
I'm not sure.
That movie is crazy. It stars Cinzia Monreale from The Beyond. She was Emily in The Beyond, the blind girl. Craziness. Anyway, sorry, I got off topic here. I definitely marked down the head in the bucket. Love that. That was so awesome. Like, that just made me laugh so much. I liked and I don't know how to really pronounce her name. It's either Tisa or Tisa Farrow. Mia's sister. And this was actually her last film. She retired from acting after this one.
It is so you know what? I wonder if it had anything to do with them dubbing her also. Like, they did not need to probably do that. I can't assume that she was I can't assume she's a bad actress, because I think there's like at least 3 sisters, right, that were acting.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I thought one of them was in that Schlock movie. Have you seen Schlock? It's like John Landis
movie.
Yeah, I thought one of them
Monkey
was in
suit
that.
guy.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something fucked up. But regardless, I thought Mia Farrow had two acting sisters. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I don't
She
see
wasn't.
it. I
She
don't
wasn't
see
in that. Yeah. So I don't know what
Okay.
the fuck I'm thinking. Anyways,
it. Yeah. But yeah, I've only seen this one a few times. I just thought it would be fun to get some Italian irreverence on here this time around. I give it a 7. It made it on the list. It's worth seeing it just because of that. That was my big appeal. The video nasty list, made
it's a
made it
cool
onto
movie.
there.
I mean,
don't go in
soundtrack
expecting,
is just you can mute it. You don't need to hear it. There's everything
play your
that's
own
cool.
soundtrack.
It's dubbed, so the acting isn't like you're missing out on a performance that's like, I mean, you're just missing out on a fun dub, but the soundtrack can be muted. I would love to have a cut of this that has no soundtrack. I could put my own in. Rob, what do you think?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was one of the most gruesome films that they made at the time, and it's like, especially the baby eating scene. I mean, it was just like that was considered shocking as like the Serbian film is today. I mean, that was a scene back then that freaked people out, and probably the reason why it was banned in a few countries, or at least heavily edited out.
Yeah. This is like, it's like something you would hear about on the playground. Like, there's this movie,
right?
And this happens. Yeah. So
it definitely worked for shock value, and a lot of the gore effects, except for the head in the bucket scene, was really well done and gross. And I think it's like one of those stand the test. Like, they're like, can you sit through this film and get challenged by all the different gore that people are used to seeing, and it's just like, this some crazy ass shit, like dude eating his own fucking intestines.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That is a good scene. I like that scene a lot.
Yeah, it's just what I do. I eat stuff.
Yeah, he's just like, and he just dies.
Yeah.
They totally should have made a sequel to that movie, man. They still could,
It's absurd. It's called Absurd.
I was eyeballing that. I almost picked that one for
next
month, but
that is
fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
But I don't know for sure if it was actually a sequel, though.
No, it's like how the Gates of Hell trilogy isn't a real trilogy,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like they're related, but not like Star Wars related,
right?
So it's like that. It's a spiritual sequel.
Nice. Well, what rating would you give it, Rob?
I would give it a 7.5. It almost makes an 8, but like I said, the music was kind of dated. I think it was more geared towards the popularity of the music in the country that it was made in. And they were probably like, "Oh, that's a great soundtrack," But here, like, we're not used to.
I don't know
hearing that style.
I was so offended by it. I looked up the composer, because I was like, this has to be a dude that just got a piano or something. Like, he just got a synthesizer in 1980, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, hit that loop." He just hits the loop, and then he hits some keys. He doesn't know what he's doing, and then there you go. That's all it is.